All right. All right, let me see. Um, all right, I'm going to jump in on this one. I'm kind of hesitant to jump in. I know it seems very obvious that the Miami Campbell Biology 12th edition seems like the right one, but
Yep.
I'm a little nervous. I had customized it for someone, but I don't think so. Okay. All right. So, yeah. So this is actually like a more of a customized course. Just in that we've added a couple icons here. I've gone through. I think some of the homework assignments are pre-assigned. I can help you with all of that. Like once you have your course designed and you know what you want in here, I can help you, get your course ready. But I'll kind of just start with the basics. So mastering includes everything that the students need. It has, of course, it has the e-text, so students can, access their text through here. It's also going to have any assignments you assign. If you want to put any assessments, whether it's a quiz, test, exam, you can put all of those in here.
Okay.
And then, at the same time, I know that, a lot of instructors may use their own assignments, tests, exams. And so on that, students actually have a lot of their own study resources built into here. And I'll show you where all this is. And then for you as well, you have your instructor resources, and that's going to have your for a typical book, it's going to have instructor's resource manual, probably a test bank, probably PowerPoint presentations for each chapter. Because of what this book is, because it's Campbell Biology, you have a lot more than that. There's a lot of resources in there. But I also just like to mention that if you are using another Pearson book, there's always, the very typical instructor resources, but Campbell Biology is kind of a bad one to show you because it is just so well developed, because it's used so many places. So I'll start with the e-text. And then can you, while I'm kind of getting this open, can you tell me a little bit about, I know you said you typically teach upper level courses, but if you were teaching like a freshman, sophomore level course, what would that look like? Or what are you kind of imagining that to look like as far as the structure of the lecture? Are you going to have a lecture? Will there be assignments? Are there going to be videos? Just anything you can think of related to that.
Oh, so yes, I will. Yeah, we're gonna do lecture, and it's going to be, I think, online this spring.
Okay.
So stay online.
Will it be synchronous?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, and with like say 200 students, or I don't know how many students I have, but for major and non-major, sort of mixed. And yes, I often actually use YouTube video in it. So I tend to just download YouTube video, just place it. I use Mac, so I tend to convert the PowerPoint into Keynote and put more animation on it. And yes, we also have possibly have weekly quiz. That's going to be Canvas based, I think, multiple choice Canvas based. So that I would appreciate all these example quizzes and things. So I don't need to do too much on it.
Yes,
because
no, for sure,
yeah, because last time I was teaching, that was probably the hardest part. You have to come up with multiple choices every week. That, for the multiple choice questions for like midterm and final, it's okay. But every single week, that was actually a little tough. Yeah. What else?
What about as far as like the readings go? Would you obviously you're gonna have, I'm assuming it's gonna be like assigned readings, week 1 read chapter 14, week 2 chapter 15. Do they get any like participation points for that, or are there going to be any sort of like assessments, whether it's like a self-check for them or, like, this is a combination of what you've done in the past and what would be, what you would
Mhm.
like to do as well.
Yeah, yeah. So I will team teach with someone more skilled,
Oh, yeah.
Becky Balish, who
Okay.
is sort of the organizer of this course like last 10 years or so.
Yeah.
And so it's up to her. But my understanding, or at least last time I taught with her, so even last time I was actually teaching with her, we had reading assignment, like, next week we'll do this chapter, so read it, that kind of assignment. Although it's kind of unofficial casual assignment, I don't think we did anything to assess or, if they actually read it.
Right.
But like weekly quiz kind of worked like that because, we do quiz sort of at the beginning of the lecture. So if you are not reading textbook, even if were at the lecture, it was kind of difficult to answer everything. So we basically used the quiz to pressure student to keep reading.
Yeah. Right. Right.
However, through online, I don't know if we're gonna do we continue weekly quiz. The reason I say that is actually my son is at Miami taking the biology major. So he was taking 115 last semester, or I mean this semester.
Oh my gosh.
And actually the Becky was teaching and they dropped weekly quiz for his 115. So I don't know.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. Yeah, that's funny. That's funny.
Yeah, yeah.
So is he a freshman then?
Yep, he is a freshman.
Oh, nice. That's yeah. Oh, it's a hard time to be a freshman in college.
He seems doesn't mind much, but
Yeah. Yeah, well, he probably is going to learn some really good study skills, and then once he's back on campus, hopefully he can, apply what he's learned in virtual, and
yep, I hope so.
he may do better off in the end. But yeah, it's a tough time to be a college freshman.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
But anyway, so yeah, so that's sort of the at least the idea I have for the next semester.
Okay, perfect. Okay, all right. Well, I'll kind of yeah, like I said, I'll show you a bunch of different options in here. Kind of show you where they are. We
Okay.
do have a meeting scheduled in January, and the date and time is kind of in flex still. I'd set it up with Becky and David
Okay.
to kind of just meet up with all of the instructors, and she was going to get back to me on the day and time. So that's something we can keep in mind too. You'll kind of have a chance to kind of explore on your own. You can come, I can answer questions. We can meet up again, but there will be a meeting. I think it's 2 weeks before the semester starts.
Okay. Sounds good.
Let me think. And then so we'll meet again then and kind of refresh. I think it might be like the 11th or 12th. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, a couple things for the e-text to keep in mind. One is for any student that has mastering, which is going to be, it should be all of your students, 99% of them, they're going to have access to a free e-text app as well. And so they'll be able to download all of the chapters onto their phone or tablet. For the students that really like having the physical textbook, Pearson's kind of switched how we do this. We used to have like you go to the bookstore and you get a bundle of the book and the loose leaf, or the book and the access code, and it would be like $300. Now what we've started doing is instead, the mastering with e-text is what you need. That's what's required for course. And if you're someone who really likes to have that physical book, you can purchase a loose leaf option, and it's full color. It's really nice, but it's $55.
Nice.
So it ends up being, so if you want the book, it still ends up being half the price of what it used to be. But we've kind of, instead of forcing everyone to get the book, now, you can get it if you want. So it's going to save them a lot of money and then kind of brings the price down too. But,
nice.
Kind of something, kind of an aside where you may not need to know that information, but if someone asks, you'll know the answer, I guess, is why I'm telling you. e-text, if you know all this, let me know. But since you teach upper level, I'm not sure how much you get into like some of these Pearson e-text, but anything that is linked, can obviously be selected or hovered over, and you'll get the definition.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be a lot of, the figures are selectable and interactive. You can zoom in on those. There are going to be animations and videos built right into the text,
Nice.
so let me mute that. So compared, whatever it was 5 years ago, they were reading the physical book and there was a link that said, go to YouTube to watch this video, or go online to the Pearson website to watch the video. And, no one was going to watch it because it took so much work.
Yeah.
Now it's all built right in.
Okay. And those videos also included in PowerPoints?
I don't know. I'd have to check. They're available in the text. They're available in the study area as well, and they're available as most are going to be available as a homework assignment with like related questions.
Okay, but do you think we can download, copy paste to the PowerPoint keynote, something like that?
I don't know if you'll be able to download it. We can look into it for sure. I'll have to check and see. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and so let's see. So here's another thing I want to show you. So in the e-text, if you highlight, and this is for you or students, you can highlight, if students can highlight and take notes in here as well, maybe they'll say like, this is going to be an exam question, right? For you as the instructor, you have an additional option in here. So if you really want them to watch this video, or you can do like the regular text as well, but you can highlight and you have this icon here, and the students don't have this, but when you click this icon, it shares this highlight out to your entire class.
Oh, interesting. So that's a share icon.
Yeah, and same with the notes. And so you have the option to highlight your own highlights, of course, but there's that additional option where you can push that out. And then when your students are reading, they have a highlight that appears in there already. Some instructors will add notes. Sometimes they'll highlight and just tell their students like, hey, everything that's highlighted is super important, right?
Yeah, at least read that part.
Yes, yes, exactly. Yeah, so that's a nice feature of the e-text, and especially with the everything being digital now, it's just one more touch point for you between you and these 200 students. One more way for you to kind of communicate with them while they're learning, instead of just that 1 hour, 2 hours a week where you're seeing them in lecture. For you and students, just like any other e-text, you can search content. So you can search definitions, of course, but we have these BioFlix animations. Let me see. BioFlix. And so if you want, if you really just want to you really like these animations, you can go through and find out where these, it looks like there are 83 in the text. So you can go through and figure out, okay, well, we're doing microbiology, so we want to go here, right? And then of course, you can search definitions and things like that as well, content. You and students both can add bookmarks, so if they're important pages or important chapters. For you and students, you can, change the size of the text, change the color. There's like a podcast and such in here, and like an audio playlist in here. I'm gonna open up the table of contents, of course, but in the table of contents, there's also this notebook. And this is where all of the highlights and notes that students take for themselves and the ones that you share out are going to appear. And, so for them, it's if they can get into the habit of using the highlights and or notes, it's going to be a really good study tool for them, when it comes time for tests and exams, because then they can kind of just jump around instead of, blindly scanning the text.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so they have access to that. And then the history tab here is going to be anything that's bookmarked. It's also going to be recent pages as well.
So the bookmark is for each page. I see the bookmark icon on the top as well. So if you click the bookmark, it's gonna bookmark where, like the section or page? Or...
It's gonna bookmark the entire page. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
You'll bookmark the entire page, and then as we skip around pages, let me see if I can get to do it real quick. Yeah, so I went to a new page, so if I'm going to page 226 to read, the page I was just on is going to show up here as your recently visited. Which if you're reading the chapter, it doesn't matter. But if you're studying for an exam, studying for a test, kind of flipping around to different sections, that's it's a really nice tool for students to have. Yeah. So I'll kind of pause there. A lot of this is just basic functions, but it's also things that I want to make sure that you're aware of. So you can kind of either encourage students to use it, or if they ask you questions about the bookmarking feature, you know what it's doing. Do you have any questions about the e-text as a whole?
Maybe a few. So can we print out those pages if we want to, read at the cafe or?
Yeah, you can print. I think you print individual pages. Let me see what's going to print for me. Would this be for you or for students?
Maybe both. I often like to read it like actual paper on the actual paper, so that I might do. And I often actually, at least last time I was teaching, I often actually got asked if they can print out.
Yeah, so for you as an instructor, I can send you, I think I saw you have a desk copy. If you want, do you want me to see if we have a loose leaf copy that I can mail out? Is that what you're?
That would be super helpful.
Okay.
Yeah. Then I don't need to carry around that huge book that I can kill someone.
Yeah. Let me see. I'll figure out how to get a copy to you. Let me see before I move on. I want to see if I have your.
Yeah, I'm getting old. I'm the old folk. Like I love reading the actual book.
No, I completely agree. It's actually surprising. Like it seems like over the past few years, students more and more are becoming more comfortable with using the e-text, but I never thought it would happen. For me, I'll always prefer to read on a physical piece of paper. It's just easier for me to kind of, scan and all that. But
yeah, I still, I now organize all these things on my computer, like PDF, highlighting things. But when you want to focus and read, I still prefer the paper copy. So
agreed. Do you want, if I mail that out, do you want me to send it to Pearson Hall, or do you want me to send it to your home?
Maybe, hold on. Can you actually send it to my home, because the university is gonna close the next 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Should I put my address in the chat menu?
Oh yeah, that'd be perfect.
Hold on, let me put my name too.
Copy it over here real quick.
In case you also need the phone number.
All right. Perfect. All right. Perfect. Okay. Yeah. So for students, they can print individual pages.
Okay.
If they want to read the whole thing, I would just recommend that, it might be easier for them just to purchase the loose leaf.
I agree.
Yeah.
Loose leaf is really nice option. Like, back then like 5 years ago, we had only that huge expensive book, and I was always reluctant to, you know, recommend buying that. But yeah, but 50 something is something.
Yeah, it's not that. Yeah,
reasonable.
I don't know. Some people kind of, you know, roll their eyes at the loose leaf, but in a lot of ways, I prefer it because, I mean, that book is huge. You know, if you're just
Yeah.
doing, you know, chapters, you know, even, you know, if you can just pull out just the second half of the book for Bio 116, or you can pull out, half the semester at a time, and it just becomes so much more, transportable.
I agree.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
So here, let me go back. So the next thing I'll show you is our study area, and this
And
is.
maybe one more question. So
Oh
this
yes. Oh,
view,
sorry. Yeah.
or like go the view you are just showing, not the textbook, but
Okay.
yeah. So is this like instructor's view or student views, or it's shared view?
It's going to be almost identical for you and students.
Okay.
Anywhere that you see this icon right here, it means that
Ah,
it's hidden from students. So
gotcha.
when they sign in, theirs will have course home, assignments, scores, e-text, and study area, and that's it.
Okay.
So theirs is a lot simpler, but they look the same.
Okay.
Yep. All right. So then we have the study area, and this is, both you and students have access to it. And this is just kind of where we put all of the resources for the Campbell biology text. There are a lot of different, we have our figure walkthroughs. I'll show you one of these, but then most of these, I'll just kind of give you an overview of what they are.
The structure of a
I'll
phospholipid.
mute that. And these are also, these are from the text. So this is where we pulled out all of those animations and videos and put them, somewhere else, kind of in like a catalog.
Okay.
So we have the figure walkthroughs, we have the BioFlix animations. These are typically going to be short videos. This was like the moose and the wolves animation that was in the e-text. That's one of our BioFlix animations.
Okay, so that's probably when I would ask the same question. Are they downloadable?
And I don't think that there's going to be a way to download these for a PowerPoint.
Can you click one of the video, like maybe right click and see if you can save link on?
Yeah, and I think the link is going to have
the entire HTML.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. If you go to the video and right click the video, is there anything you can do? Save as? Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I think it's just
no, those are player.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I kind of figured that's probably the way, but.
Transcript controls. Oh no. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think so. Yeah, and I'll keep looking around. I'm going to kind of explore as we go. I don't think it is just because, for copyright reasons, we wouldn't want it to get online anywhere. Become posted online.
Yeah, that's, I understand, but it's also not too convenient, to go back and forth between web browser and the PowerPoint to be able to show these videos. So it would be nicer if we can, there's a way to embed the video into PowerPoint.
Yeah.
If you have some way.
I'm kind of, I've got it in the back of my mind. I'm kind of thinking about it. I know that they're assignable, but that would be outside of class as well. I don't know. I'll have to think about it.
Okay, I will explore something. So if I found a way to embed videos to PowerPoint, am I okay to do so?
Yeah, as long as they're not being posted on, let me think. So would you share them with students?
So that's a great question. I can remove those video and share it if that's the
Or if you share them with students, could you make it like a view only? Like your keynote, could you make it view only?
Possibly, I've never done that, but yeah, I think
Okay.
I can do that.
Yeah. The biggest thing is as long as they don't have a way to download those videos on the computer, that would be okay. But once they download them, if they posted them online, that's where like I mean, we would kind of get in trouble because, you know, it's owned in part, you know, by Pearson and the authors and.
Yeah. No, I understand that.
Yeah. Let me see. So, okay. So then we have the HHMI. These are the Howard Hughes Institute. I know that Becky likes these a lot.
Yeah, I love those too.
Okay. Yeah. And,
Yeah.
Nancy likes them a lot too.
Yeah.
Let me see. So we have these. I'll show you one of these real quick. Really, you know, you'll probably just want to go and explore explore some of these different options and figure out what you want to use or what you want to, know about. But we have a handful of these graphic exercises where it's kind of, integrating math into the biology text. But they're pretty cool. So it's about water cycle and there we go. And then they'll go through and they'll graph it. Yeah, as the title would infer. Yeah, current events are in here, but so kind of for one of the biggest ways that I see this used for students is when they're studying. And what I recommend doing, instead of going through and pulling out the figure walkthroughs or the animations, I recommend going to the study by chapter. Going to the chapter you're going to study on. So I think you guys start in chapter 14 or 15. I'll go to 15. And then once you're in 15, then you're only looking at animations, figure walkthroughs, the Howard Hughes video that only relates to chapter 15. So you're not, you're not getting into that YouTube wormhole of just like watching video after video. For students, they can kind of target what they need. And then also, if they want to take a practice test or they want to do like a self-check quiz, they can do that as well. So let me see. So that's kind of the study area. Did you have any questions about that? There's a lot in there.
Yeah, but yeah, that makes sense. I think going from chapter. Yep.
Yeah. There's a lot of info in there. Let me see. Go back here. Have you ever used, or would you ever be interested in using like the clicker questions?
I have not used clicker before. I don't know. I have a mixed feelings. No. Yeah, I mean, it can be convenient. It can be fun. Yeah,
okay.
If you have some materials, let's go over.
Yeah, we have them. So our clicker questions are called Learning Catalytics. It comes free with mastering. So it's something where it's I guess I just kind of leave it at that. You can make your own conclusions off that, but it comes free, so it's something you can try out without feeling committed to it. Whereas if you had them purchase, like one of the other live response tools, then you may feel more committed to using it throughout the semester because students paid $100 a year for it or whatever. So it's free, and we have a test banks already built in here. I'm going to kind of rush through the creation process.
Yeah.
Just so. But there are a lot of options in here. You can build in the scoring so that students either treat it like a quiz. Students get credit based on how they answered, or if you just want to do it in lecture and have them, you just kind of want to keep them engaged and keep them involved and keep them paying attention. You can just make it 100% participation, right? Or, anything in between.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I don't want to create a question. You can create your own questions, but I'm going to open up our library. being general bio, being the Campbell biology book, there are a lot of questions in here.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. Yeah, so I'll kind of pull both. Okay, so yeah, there are almost 1,000 questions in here in biology. Depending on, do you know any of the topics in 116 that you can think of off the top of your head?
I think it's more molecular biology based. So like, DNA transcription, replication, whatever that is.
I'll search DNA. DNA has
Yeah.
to have something. Yeah. So so there are 67 questions in here. Mostly when I work with instructors that are using this, they'll have, they'll pull in maybe like 3 questions for a lecture, 2 questions for a lecture, and then throughout the lecture, push those questions out to students. Students take it either, they can take it on a browser or on their phone. Beginning of class, they would sign in to like this individual session. And then when you push out the question, it pops up on their phone, ask them the question, and then you get that live feedback for how they're doing. You open some of these. So here we go. So we have, so when you're previewing this, you have the question, the options of answers, correct answers. It looks like this is a matching activity. So they need to do, A1.
Yeah.
Well, I'm guessing it gets mixed up. And then you also have historical performance for students if you're interested in seeing how they've done in the past.
Yeah. Rating of the question. That's funny.
Yeah.
So the student rate the question.
Here we go. So let me I'll add a couple in there. And so we have the basic multiple choice. That was a matching activity. There are some where they're clicking a particular region. Where may say like where is the head of the dog, and they have to click on the head of the dog, right? Obviously it's gonna be more complex than that. I'll add a couple in here. Here we go. All right, here we go. So, so I've thrown in a handful of questions.
Yeah.
This is our quiz for this week. And I've just so I'm going to start it. And so when students come in at the beginning of class, they sign into their, they do the same thing you did, where you click Learning Catalytics and Mastering.
Yep.
When they sign in, they'll type in 876-286-41. You get a code at the beginning of each class.
Yep.
And then they kind of just leave it up on their phone or on their browser. And then when it's time to talk about phases of cell cycle, you hit deliver and it pushes it out to the students. Okay, and then it pops up on their device, of course. And then as they answer, you get that, feedback on how they're doing. So as you've delivered that question, you can, obviously pause and say, hold on, we're gonna stop right there. Let's talk real quick about the M phase versus the S phase. And so you can kind of use it to guide your lecture as well. And so in that way, if you get all these responses back, which are totally wrong, you can talk about the cell cycle, come back, and re-deliver the question. Say, now knowing what we've just talked about, let's try this question again. And so it's a nice tool to keep students engaged. I'm re-delivering that question. Here we go. It's the same thing. So for this question, this was one of those the region ones. So identify a phosphodiester linkage in the DNA molecule. So they would be clicking somewhere on this image, on their phone or on their browser.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it's a nice tool. And then here's the answer down here. So so it's a nice tool during a lecture to kind of make sure that students are, staying engaged, participating. And that's something that we've seen, even between fall semester and spring semester. I have a lot of instructors kind of adding this into their lecture, even just adding, 1 or 2 in throughout class. And the first one might be like an attendance question. Are you here? Yes or no? Right. So they sign in, they click yes. A half hour later, They do the cell cycle question at the end of class. They do the macromolecule linkages question. And so, it's not something where it's taking over all of class, but something that's just going to keep them engaged, and something where you're going to be able to tell at the end of class who was here, who answered correctly, just like kind of, let kind of what's happening.
Yeah. And about the participation grade to like actually grading, I saw you can slide. What else? What other choices you have? So I understand that we give away all the grades, or we stick with the correct answer. What is in between?
Yes. Okay. No, for sure. So if we have so let me start on the easy one. Where's my 50? So the easy one is if it's 50% participation, 50% correctness. If I answer the answer incorrectly, I'll get 50% of question one's points because I was incorrect. So I got 0 for that.
Yeah.
But I got 100%.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And so it's same thing, 75-25. If I answer correctly, I get 100%. If I'm incorrect, I get 25% of the points for that question.
Interesting.
Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It does. It is actually kind of funny. Like.
Yeah. And I'm not sure. Most people I work with either do, full participation or full correctness. But the option in here, so I'm sure folks use this.
Yeah, I do see the dilemma, from the teacher point of view, you want student to be correct, or you want to award the student who was correct, but you want to actually give the participation too. So yeah, 75% or something like that. That I do understand why you guys have that.
I could definitely see where something like this would be used in class where, if you're here and trying, you're going to get at least a C, To get the A, you have to know, if a plant cell is placed in a beaker of pure water, whatever, you have to know that answer to get an A. So that comes free. If it is something you're interested in, what I typically recommend people do is on the first day of class, kind of do like a silly one, and to kind of get you and students used to it. Like, do you have a pet at home? Do you have any brothers and sisters? 0, 1, 2, or 3, right? On the first day of class. And then if that goes pretty well, in the next day of class, do 2 questions from that chapter, right? And kind of build yourself up to that. Make sure you at the same time, students as well are comfortable with it. Because if you haven't used it and students haven't used it, and you're trying to throw in 5 questions during class, it's
probably not gonna work.
Even if it goes well, it's going to be stressful, for both of you.
Yeah, I understand that.
So those are a good tool. They're built in.
So sorry, so that was from which menu? Can you?
So if you come in and just scroll to the bottom, it's these LC, Learning Catalytics.
Yeah.
Is what they're called. And if it is something that you and or Becky are interested in doing, we can spend more time kind of getting those ready prior to the semester as well. That was kind of just like a quick overview of what it is and how it works. But if you are going to use it, let me know, and we'll kind of sit down and just kind of work on it together.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah. Another tool that is, it's not an assignment, but it's just another tool similar to Learning Catalytics. A lot of instructors use for either participation grade or remediation are our dynamic study modules. These are not an assessment is the best way for me just to kind of summarize them. What they're meant to be a learning tool. So let me pull these open, and I'm going to show you what these are. Because when I show you, you're gonna kind of look at them and say, oh yeah, these are an assessment, but they're not. Or they're not in a traditional sense. So they're organized by chapters. They're meant to be done prior to the lecture, after they've read. assuming all of your students are reading, after they've read,
Right.
these questions should be really easy.
Uh-huh.
They can go through and they can answer, they can tell you whether they're unsure. If they know the answer, they can select.
Oh.
There we go. I'm kind of racing to number 8, and you'll see why. But so one thing I do want to point out about these is that when they're getting them wrong, it doesn't tell them what the correct answer is, and that's by design, right? And so the gauge at the top tells me how I'm doing. Most of these questions, if they've read, they should be able to get these right. It shouldn't take very long. And honestly, if I sit down and think about it, I can probably figure most of these out as well, right?
Yeah.
Without even reading. So I've done my 8 questions. I got 1 correct. I got 2 partially correct. And so it says, now let's go learn. So it throws out any questions I got right. And I'm going to go through and I'm going to review every one that I missed. It's going to tell me what I missed, what I should have answered. And then it's also going to pull content in for me to actually learn about what I'm doing. So, it's not meant to be used as a quiz or an assessment. It's meant to be more of like a self-check where they can assess, it might be like a self-assessment where they're checking how they're doing. And if they don't know it, they're going to learn during this process. And so so a lot of instructors are using this either as a as a participation grade. So now that we aren't coming to class every day, you get 50 points at the end of the semester for doing all of your dynamic study modules. Some instructors are doing them as a really low stakes extra credit assignment. So they may just get 1 point for each chapter they do. And really what that's doing is it's just encouraging them to read, and to learn, chapter 15 or whatever it is. And then some instructors are using them as a homework grade, but if you go that route, what you need to realize is that all of these questions are going to get thrown back into the module. So by the time that I finish this module, I'm going to get all of them right. Every student will get 100% on this for the most part, unless they quit doing it. But as long as they finish, they'll get 100%. And the penalty there is if you read the chapter, it's going to take you 20 minutes. If you didn't read and you're learning this way, it's going to take you an hour. And so that's something that they'll have to kind of, depending on if you want to use these or not, you're going to have to weigh that. Another way that they're used a lot is they're used as remediation. So it's something that you and Becky just kind of keep in mind as a tool for students. And if any student that after the first test has a C or below, email them all and say, hey, from here on out, I would recommend doing the dynamic study modules after you've read. And so they're not getting credit for it. Of those students you email, most of them may not even do it because it's not for credit, which I think, that's not news to you. But it is a really good tool. And students like it a lot. I get really good feedback about these.
Yeah, agree. So right now, this one, you just keep going until end. Then so for this example, you actually went to question 8 and you stopped, or what happened?
Yes. Oh yeah. Sorry. I should have paused there. I've done this so many times. I kind of forget,
Sorry. Yeah.
No. That was my fault. Yeah. So when you get to question 8, instead of saying next question, the button that I clicked said like, I think it says, now let's go learn.
Okay.
And so it automatically stops them at the end of each question set of 8 questions.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah,
and if you can review what you did, and even if you are wrong, that's it. Is that correct? So like in this example, so the student will learn what they chose and why it was wrong, and that's the correct answer.
Yeah.
Is there any mechanism to let them redo this
Yes.
thing?
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't explain that very well either. So all set, excuse me, all 7 of these questions that I missed are going to get put back into the module, and I have to get these right.
Gotcha.
Yep. Yeah.
So
So like
that's the reason you are saying that it will take forever to finish.
yes.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Yeah, I was a little confused that I could easily imagine some student just clicking the first one just without reading anything and try to.
Oh yes. No, sorry. Yes. Oh yeah. They have to get this right.
I like that. I like
Yeah.
that.
And so at the same time, at the end of the module, man, it excuse me, it's going to be hard for a student to cheat on this. It's going to take so much work. So at the end of the module, chances are there's going to be maybe 2 questions they just haven't done well. They've continued to miss over and over and over again. So at the end of the module, instead of having a question set of 8, they may have a question set of 3. And it's the 3 questions they've gotten wrong 4 times in a row.
Yeah.
So at that point in time, they're gonna have to get it right. They're gonna have to realize that in chemical reactions, the reactants are the starting materials that are converted to products. Even if they're cheating and just looking at the correct answer, at some point in time, they're just gonna, it's gonna get, kind of baked into their brain, for lack of a better term.
Very nice system. I like it.
It's really good. And then one of the reasons why students like it so much is there's a free app as well. And so this is a really, really, really good tool for students who want to study biology and are going on vacation, going to mom and dad's house, studying in the car, riding a bus. For students who need to study but aren't sitting at their desk at home, it is a really good thing that gets downloaded in their pocket. They don't need cell phone service. It's totally free to them. It's such a good, I'm on the go. Oh, I'm sitting in the doctor's office. I'm going to run through the dynamic study module real quick for chapter 20. It is just so convenient.
Nice.
And then obviously it syncs between mastering and the app that they have. And that's
sorry, one more question.
Yeah,
sorry.
no, please.
So to weave this into the grading system, you have the mechanism for that, or like that?
Yeah, and that is where we're going, and that is where we're going next. So
okay, cool.
So the biggest, most complex part of all of mastering is the assignments, just because there's so much in there.
Yeah.
And so the 2 things I showed you, the learning catalytics and the dynamic study modules, are assignments, but they kind of both can live outside of the traditional assignment area. So I'm gonna go back to course home. I guess I was already on the course home. And I'm going to create an assignment. So you can create an assignment from scratch, which is where we'll get into. You can copy assignments from one of your courses, one of Becky's courses, one of David's courses, Nancy's courses, right? You can copy assignments from any of your colleagues. We have pre-built assignments in here as well. And these are kind of broken down by, we have lab assignments, we have reading quizzes, we have these ready to go teaching modules are kind of like very technology heavy. So lots of experiments and video tutorials. Best of homework is just going to be the most used multiple choice, questions. It's exactly what it sounds like.
Yeah.
We have tutorials, the Howard Hughes Institute videos. All of those are broken down with their assessment, like the assessment questions. There are like the toughest topics, scientific skills, basic chemistry, inquiry tutorials, making connections. Those ones are kind of cool. Just making connections between chapter 10 and chapter 22. You know, there's a assignment for that. Here are the dynamic study modules.
Excuse me.
And so for the dynamic study modules, those can be assigned for practice. So those would basically just appear on the student's homework calendar, but they're not due. You know, just kind of when I've seen instructors do this is they will assign chapter 15 on the same day that chapter 15 reading is due. Chapter 16 is assigned on the same day as the chapter 16 reading is due, right? You can assign it for credit, or you can assign it for extra credit. You know, a lot of times I'll see instructors just do like 1 point, you know, not really worth that much, but enough to kind of, you know, encourage them to get in there.
Yep.
And then you can also assign the readings. They're not scored. They would just appear on that assignment calendar.
Gotcha.
So, you know, just kind of another way to help students organize.
Yeah.
All of these assignments will get linked and synced with Canvas. So if you have any assignments in here, readings, dynamic study modules, all those will appear in the Canvas assignments page.
Nice.
Any assignments that you have that are graded, all of those grades will sync with the grade book.
Okay.
Here, I'm gonna pause this real quick. I just heard, let me see. Sorry, I just had a calendar invite pop up.
No worries.
What is going on? For some reason, my calendar is showing 10 a.m. Sorry, hold on. All right. I just want to make sure I wasn't forgetting about anything, and I'm not.
Okay.
I don't know what that sound was. All right, so I'm going to jump into our item library and create an assignment from scratch. But before we go in there, do you have any questions about any of these different assignment types?
I think I'm okay.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And I would recommend just kind of you know, when you have a chance, go in, explore, figure out what you're going to use, and then, you know, shoot me an email. We can meet up again. I can answer any questions through email, and I can kind of help. You know, if you go back through and you're like, you know, I really want my students to make connections between chapter 10 and 20. Is there anything in there that would help with that? And I can kind of help you figure out what's in here. I'm kind of just trying to give you a general overview of what's in here, so that you know, not so that you know what everything that's in here, but just so that you realize that, you know, when you start building these assignments, know that there is something in here. You don't have to know what it is. Call me, email me. I'll help you find the right thing. But I just want you to know that there's whatever you need is probably already built in here.
Okay, I appreciate it. Especially because it's been a while since I did this.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and it's hard too, because you know, I think we all know that the best way to learn is you know, by chunking information and not overloading. And then I come in here and I meet with you and I do the exact opposite. You know?
Yeah, it's always tough, you know. You hate memorization, but without knowing those, you just cannot have any conversations. So,
yeah.
So that's the dilemma.
Yeah, and so so when I meet with you, I don't really use best practice, you know, and so I kind of just try to remind you that I don't want you to know all of this. I just want you to know that when you need something, it's in here, and I'll help you find it.
Yeah. No, this has been really helpful. So
good.
Really appreciate it.
Good.
So by the way, so you are assigned rep for Miami, or like what?
Yep. Yeah. So I work, I live in Columbus, Ohio. I had, and I cover Southwest Ohio is like my territory. I cover Cincinnati, Dayton, and Miami.
Gotcha.
Yeah, during a typical school year, I'm down there 3 days every week. You know, I just kind of, I'll spend 3 days at Miami, 3 days at Dayton, 3 days at UC, and then you know, I kind of bounce around all semester.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so you know, so Columbus sounds kind of far, but it ends up being I'm down there all the time. Yeah, so I cover the entire campus, and I think, the way that they have us set up now, we've gone through a lot of restructurings the past few years,
Mm.
but the way it's set up now, it's so nice because I'm only in that area. So if you want to know what, Dayton, UC, or Miami's doing, I know what all of your neighbors are doing. I
Mhm.
know if they're using dynamic study modules. It's just a nice for me to be able to kind of help that collaboration between
Yeah, yeah. This is
institutions.
really nice. We didn't have that like 5, 6 years ago when I was doing it. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
this is very cool.
yeah. I can't tell you how often I'll get into a conversation with an instructor, and I'll just say, oh, I know it. At UC they're using the learning catalytics, and at the same time I can say, Miami chemistry, they use the dynamic study modules. It's just one way for for me to kind of connect that collaboration between departments, universities, all within the area.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, which is cool. So, if you're going to assign in mastering, if you're going to use any of these assignments, you can set up these categories.
Mm-hmm.
And this is something, once we get here, give me a call, I'll help you with these. But the reason why we have these categories is that you can set up different settings.
Okay.
And so I'll kind of just shoot down here. Here's a really important one. Assignment has a time limit. So
Mm,
you would never set up a time limit on a homework assignment,
mm,
but you
mm,
probably want all of your tests or exams to have a time limit, right? You can't,
mhm,
a student can take 3 hours on a homework assignment. You want them to have 45 minutes for the test or an hour for
mm,
the test.
mm, mm.
And so the reason for these categories is that you would have different settings for each assignment type.
Gotcha, gotcha.
And so when we get to that point, I can help you with that. But
Okay.
I'm going to kind of set up a homework assignment. It's yelling at me about my homework settings that I didn't save something. Let me see. So we have, all right, so I'll stay in our book. I'll get to chapter 15.
Yep.
Here we go. And then, so it looks like for chapter 15, there's 99 questions in here.
Mhm.
I recommend using these filters to figure out, like once you have your assignment built in your head, use these filters to kind of pare down this 99 items to
Yeah.
10 or 15 for your homework assignment.
Mm.
And so you can you can pull in the end of chapter questions if you want
Mhm.
to, if you want students to do the end of chapter questions, but you want them automatically graded, you can pull them in here.
Mhm.
You can pull in the test bank questions. So these are questions that students don't have access to. We have tutorials, activities, coaching activities. These are all going to be more time intensive things. So I'll
Mm.
kind of pull these in just so I can show you.
Yep, yep.
So in section 15-1, we have one of these make connections tutorials. It's going to take students on average 10 minutes to do.
Mhm.
We have our difficulty level. So that's based on how students have done in the past.
Mm.
Also a usage statistics showing 88 on their first try answered correctly, 12% requested an answer, and an average of 3 wrong answers per student. So
Mm.
it's we have these usage statistics based off of nationally when this question's been assigned in the past.
Mhm.
And I'll show you just one of 12 of these. I don't really, this is another one of those things where you may not want to use any of these, super intensive questions and like these tutorial type questions, but I do want to make sure you know that they're in here.
Yeah, yeah.
And they're like 10 or 15 per chapter. There are a lot.
Mm.
Sometimes they'll have, so these ones are figures.
Mm.
Lots of times they're going to be videos, and then students are going to, they're going to have matching activities or
No.
short answers based on these activities. So these are, not your typical multiple choice questions. They're relatively intensive.
Yeah, yeah.
But at the same time, they're good.
Yeah, yeah. Agree.
Here we go. So I'm going to kind of get out of that because I don't think my guess would be that's not what you're going to use this for. So with 300 students, you probably want some multiple choice questions.
Yeah.
You don't have to grade these. We have 89 questions in here that are going to be multiple choice. You're not going to have to grade. So we'll kind of, let me see. So we have a couple getting ready. I probably don't want those. Actually, I don't want my test bank questions in here because I don't want students to see those because I might use them for a test. Let me pull these in. So I'm going to kind of create a little, here we go. So I'm going to create a little multiple choice quiz for us. You can, of course, create your own questions as well if there's something that you don't want or that you don't see that you need.
Mm-hmm.
So I've kind of created a 8-question quiz. This next page is an organization. So I may be going through here. Well, this one is a difficulty of 5. I'll open it up. I'll check it out. It looks really hard. I'll make it worth 2 points. Same thing. I'll open this question up. It looks really hard. It's going to take a little bit longer. Maybe I'll make all of these ones that take longer worth 2 points. I don't know. Obviously, you'll know what you're doing. For math questions, you can randomize variables. I don't think that there's a ton in biology, but off the top of my head, in math, physics, chemistry, you can require the units. I'm guessing there will be some questions like that in biology, but probably a little bit less important for you. You can also pool the assignment. So if you only want students to do 5 of these 8 questions, I'll click this pool assignment, and then it gives me this. Watch this bar right here.
Oh,
so not pooling.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give each student 6 of these 8 questions. And so what that does is it kind of just helps randomize this for students. So if you and I are in a study group together, we're doing this homework assignment together, our homework assignments will be different.
Yeah.
And you can randomize the order as well. You can you can pool the questions, which just kind of helps prevent too much collaboration between students. I'll save and continue. You can tie in learning outcomes. This is someday it'd be really cool if as a department level, if you tied learning outcomes to your questions, then you could go through and figure out, compare lectures, compare how different students in different classes are doing in chapter 15. But we'll skip it. I'm not sure that's something you want to do right now.
Yeah.
It's probably like a bigger departmental undertaking, but would be a cool thing to do.
Yeah, I agree. No, I agree.
When you assign an assignment, the availability automatically populates. So it's going to assign it from 1 week before the due date until when the class closes. And I recommend leaving the availability the way it is. So pick your due date, leave the availability. Another option here that we have is there are adaptive follow-ups.
Okay.
So after this assignment is over, you can have a test out. So any students that did worse than an 80% will have a follow-up assignment. And it's going to be based on, and it's adaptive. So it's going to be, based on what they missed.
Okay. Interesting. And in this case, the grade, they won't receive grade unless you finish the follow-up. Is that the idea?
Good question. So the way this would work is students would get their grade for the assignment. Every student in class would get their grade.
Yeah.
And then there's a second assignment that is the chapter 15 follow-up assignment.
Yeah.
If I tested above an 80%, I automatically get.
So you can instead skip it. Gotcha.
Yep, I automatically get 5 points. I don't have to do it. If I had it below an 80%, I have to complete this adaptive follow-up to get those 5 points.
Gotcha. Nice.
Yeah, and so it's similar to the dynamic study modules. When we see these used, the main assignment was worth 12 points. So the follow-up might only be worth 3. So typically that follow-up assignment is going to be worth less points. You know, and as you create it as an instructor, it's typically going to, you know, that assignment is created as a 15-point assignment. 12 of those come from the original assignment, 3 come from the follow-up.
Yeah.
So, because, you know, you don't want to give students that are testing out, you don't want to just automatically be giving them 20 points every week.
Okay.
You know, so typically these points are going to be it's going to be less than that main assignment. You know, it's really more as like a remediation for students.
Okay. And when you say adaptive, it automatically choose, or do I need to assign?
Nope. Good. Yeah. It automatically chooses questions based on what they missed.
Okay.
So if I took it and I missed all my questions I missed were based off of the you know, the Mendel, my follow-up assignment will only be off of those Mendel questions. For you, if you're in the same class and you did really well on the you know, Mendel's questions, but you struggled on the cell cycle, your adaptive follow-up will be on the cell cycle, and mine will be on the, you know, Mendel's, the beans and all that.
Yeah, interesting.
So, yeah, so
this is getting crazy, almost as if you don't need lecturer.
Yeah, well, the idea is that now, you know, you have more time to focus on the lecture. You have more time to focus on questions from students, and, you know, and helping them make connections. And the assessment is done by mastering, right? The whole, you know, and you won't have to worry for the most part about grading. Hopefully students that are coming to your office hours, instead of coming to ask you questions about, you know, basic questions, hopefully now their questions, you know, are more about the content of chapter 15 rather than, I don't know, you know, something basic. You know, hopefully your office hours are now going to be better spent, because there's a lot of built-in, I guess I didn't really even talk about that at all, but there's a lot of built-in like help for students as well. Let me pull up one of these questions for you. Right, and so as they're going through this question, they have, you know, review. They can go straight to the book and review this. They're going to get feedback that tells them, like, oh, you know, don't forget for, I don't know, you know, for the offspring, they're all going to be dwarf, or, you know, they're going to get some sort of feedback depending on what their answer is. You know, so when they come to you, instead of saying, hey, I put in dwarf and I don't know why it's wrong, they're going to come in and they're going to, you know, have questions about chromosomal basis of inheritance, rather than why are these both dwarf, or, you know, whatever the, you know, that may not be a good example, but I hope.
No, I know what you mean.
Yeah, good. And so hopefully it's going to give you more time to focus on, you know, the lecture and helping students make connections, and you know, doing what you're good at, rather than answering why, you know, why are these not dwarf? Why, you know, why did I lose a point here? Yeah. Yeah. So that's kind of mastering in a nutshell. I know it, you know, it took 75 minutes, but
no, I really appreciate it. Yeah,
you know, I guess, you know, do you have any questions for me now?
No, right now I need to actually go over. Maybe I need your help setting up the account, or see if I have the account. Yeah, so that's one. But maybe another question, this one maybe you have already asked, but I wonder if there's any possibility that you come in and show student, you know, how to use these. I don't know, you know, what Becky, Dave gonna say. I need to ask them, but I feel like it'll be hugely beneficial if, you know, someone who is knowledgeable about how to use this gonna just come in and show student how to use it.
Yes, I am. Well, yeah, I guess this semester I won't be able to travel for COVID reasons.
Yeah, yeah.
But in future semesters, absolutely. You know, I'm typically beginning of the semester, I'm going to be on campus.
Yeah.
You know, one reason why I can always guarantee that is that Miami starts so late.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, so I'll spend so I'll spend when Dayton starts, I'll spend 3 or 4 days there. When Cincinnati starts, I'll spend 3 or 4 days there. When Miami starts, I'll spend 3 or 4 days there, right? So I'm on campus at the beginning of the semester, and I'll come to class and I'll show them this. For now, I do have and I'm going to have to double check this. I haven't looked at it this semester, but so I create these YouTube videos, and I have one created for Miami students in Bio 115, 116.
Oh, nice, nice.
Yeah, so let me see. So I just want to double check. I'll email you about this. I'll leave it
Okay.
there.
Okay.
Where is that master? Oh, here it is. Yeah, so I have these created. I need to double check and make sure it's still relevant. I created this one when last March, when everything had gone online, because all the instructors were using a physical book and they weren't using mastering. So we got all the students in 116 into mastering. We did it for free, which was kind of cool. So we gave everyone a code. I created the video. I made a bunch of like study tools in here, and we pushed it out to everyone at Miami, right? And so I need to review that video and make sure it works. But if not, I'll create one that you can share with students.
Yeah, that would be super helpful.
I'll create one of those. Also, at the beginning of the semester, I'll email you the dates, but I will have Zoom office hours for students.
Okay.
So, and Becky and David, I did this last semester too, so they should know. They should, be aware. Becky definitely knows because I know she sent me students. But I'll have 4 or 5 days at the beginning of the semester where I'll try to stagger them. Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursday, morning, afternoon. I'll try to get everybody covered, and I'll just help with the basics, like if they're having issues getting signed in, if they're having tech issues, if they have questions about the e-text, if they don't know how to start their homework assignment. Send them to me. I am, kind of the idea is to get some of that early stuff off your plate so that you can just get into it. So between those two things, the video and the office hours, I should be able to get the students kind of kick-started at the beginning of the semester.
Okay, sounds great. Sounds great. Yeah, part of the reason I ask is because I think my son a little bit struggled at the beginning how to use those. Yeah.
There is, once you're, there's a steep learning curve at the beginning of the semester, and I think that, one of the reasons why I go through with you and other instructors is so that you can kind of have these things in the back of your mind. And, if a student says, I'm really having trouble with the e-text because I have bad Wi-Fi, well then, hopefully you remember that there's an app that they can download offline, right? So I try to tell you all of these things for the student's sake as well. But at the same time, when things pop up, I just shoot me an email, say, hey, I've got this student who doesn't have good Wi-Fi, and I'll say, oh, have they downloaded the app? That's all offline. So it's kind of just as a reminder that we have, we've thought of it, hopefully in a lot of scenarios. We can help these students wherever they are.
Sounds good.
But yeah, I'll get a good video for you. Make sure that works. I'll do the office hours. I'm gonna get your account set up right now.
Yeah. I may have old account somewhere, but
let me see. I had tried to pull it up, and I did not see an account tied to your name.
Okay.
Let me double. I was doing like right as we were starting our meeting, like right as you had entered. So I kind of stopped mid.
It is even possible it was actually under my old email address. Like Miami's changed the domain name, so instead of Miami OH, it can be MU Ohio. But.
Let me see. But it would have been MU. That's a good point. MU Ohio. It's sort of in TOMOYAY.
Yep.
And it was .edu, right?
Yes.
Even then, okay. All right. Let me try one more thing. Oh, never mind. That's somebody else.
Yeah, we can.
Oh,
if you can,
I know
can
who it
create
is.
one.
I bet, is your son's name Kai?
Yes. You see him?
I did. Yeah, I found him. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Oh, that's,
him.
and I was like, the email address is so similar, but there's a Y
Yeah.
instead of a K.
Exactly. Tomoyasu and Tomoye.
Yes, yeah. All right. Here we go. I'm gonna I'll create an account right now for you.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I'll and then you'll want to switch your password, but
okay.
Sometimes it's just easier if I just because I do this, 3 times a day. Oh no! Wait, hold on. What did I do there?
Huh.
I copied it. It read a space. There we go. All right. Does that look okay?
Yeah. The email address is Y. Yep.
All right.
My real first name is longer, but I think that is okay for now. Or
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah. What do you prefer?
Yoshi's fine. Yoshi's fine. Yeah.
I can. Yeah. This is just. It'll only show for you. When you sign in, it'll probably say in the upper right-hand corner, like, "Hi, Yoshi." Is that okay?
Okay.
Or do you want
yeah. Definitely. Definitely.
Do you want me to put in your securities question, or I can just put in welcome and you can adjust it later?
What? Sure. Either way work. So you have to select. Gotcha. So I can change it later. Or?
Yeah. Here, I'll put this in. I'll just put in welcome for now.
Okay.
And then you can just adjust it later.
Okay.
Actually, I'll put welcome 1 because that's what your password is as well.
Okay. With capital?
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. And I'll send you an email with like where to get logged in and everything.
Okay.
Oh, and then we can also get this all linked up with your Canvas as well. Are you and Becky are shared instructors on that Canvas site? Is that correct?
Correct. Although I'm not sure if it has been created yet.
Okay.
My guess is that Becky is right now trying to wrap up her grading. The deadline is in 30 minutes. so after that, she will probably start thinking about 116. So.
Okay. All right. So I'll put this in for now. I'll call it Bio 116 demo.
Okay.
And then once we're ready, I think how we do this. Once the course is ready, we'll either want to link up yours or Becky's account with Canvas.
Okay.
And I can help with that. I think Becky knows how to do it. But if not, I can help. And one
Okay.
of you will end up being, you'll have your course in here, and then the other one, I'll send an access code, and you'll get tied in as a co-instructor.
Yeah. So that's an interesting thing. So if say, team teaching, and one is the, one account connected to Canvas, the other is co-teacher. Can both of us make the assignment that will be linked up to the Canvas, or it's gonna be only one person?
Yep. Yeah. So what's going to happen is, let's say it's Becky. So Becky's going to link her course with Canvas.
Yeah.
And then what I'll have you do is you'll sign in to mastering through Canvas, and I'll give you an access code. It's going to be a special access code, but it'll recognize you as co-instructor, and you'll both have equal access to everything. You'll both be able to create assignments, view grades, everything.
Oh, gotcha.
So,
but what I'm supposed to do is log in from Canvas and then.
yeah, and it would be what you would do normally when we get it synced up. And so that's something, and that's one of the reasons why we're meeting on January 12th, is to make sure that that is like the main purpose, is to make sure that everyone is able to link with Canvas. And then if you are the co-teacher, I'm going to get you all synced back in. But if you and Becky do it ahead of time, I can help it. I can just help get it synced up. It's a pretty easy process, but what it is it's a special access code that recognizes you as the co-instructor.
Okay, makes sense. Makes sense. I doubt that's gonna happen before January 12th, but if it happens.
Yes, perfect. Okay, all right. Perfect. So we're set up now. So I have this. I'll send you all. I'll email you right now with the information of where to go. Username, password, but you'll sign in, the course is created, and you can just get in here and explore and do whatever you need to do. There's you won't be able to break anything or anything like that, but and then as questions come up, just let me know. Oh, hey, I lost
Hi,
you.
Corey. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
We actually just lost the entire power of the house. I'm actually connecting from my cell phone now.
What? Oh my God.
That's annoying.
Oh, do you guys have bad weather down there?
No, it's really fine. I don't know if the student crashed into the pole or whatever that is.
Oh my gosh.
The phone, our cell phone working, so it should be okay.
Okay. All right. Yes. Yeah. Sorry. I was just saying I was gonna so we have your account created. I'm gonna email you right now. I was just kind of pulling it together, but I'll email you this.
Okay.
Username's your email, password's welcome1. Make sure to update your password and security question when you get a chance. And then you'll be in, and this is what your course is going to look like when you first sign in.
I cannot see the shared screen.
Oh, oops. Oh, sorry.
Here we go. Yeah.
So this is what it's going to look like.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see. On the main course homepage, if you scroll down, the dynamic study modules and learning catalytics are here.
Yep.
To view the assignments or to kind of look at those different assignment items, you can either create an assignment or you can go to all assignments. But pretty much everywhere that you'll need to go is just available right here on this home screen.
Okay.
So whether it's the assignments, once students are in here, the grade book is here as well.
Okay.
The e-text, the study area. Everything's just kind of right here on this main page. You don't really need to navigate too far from the course home.
Almost as even from the student point of view, they don't need to even go into Canvas. Maybe I should just tell student to come this.
Well, yeah, that's up to you. And it's actually, once we integrate everything, it's everything is going to be in Canvas. Does that make sense? Okay. So they don't never even need to come to mastering. Everything will just link straight through Canvas.
Okay.
So they will actually, once they're in Canvas, they'll have the e-text button, the assignments will all be in there, their grade book will be in there, so they won't even need to come here actually, which is
Okay.
But once as we start getting organized, I'll work with you and Becky to figure out what is yeah, how to link everything up correctly. But, the less they need to worry about going to Canvas and mastering and mastering in Canvas, usually the easier it is. So I'll work with you and Becky to make sure that, the way that we communicate to them makes that initial sign up really easy. Because sometimes, maybe with your son even, there was just, here's mastering, here's Canvas, here's your homework, here's your e-text, and all of a sudden you're in 5 different places. And sometimes we can just lay that out for them in a basic way. That learning curve is a little bit easier.
Yeah, this is a nice system though. And I got an email from Pearson, so I should be able to sign in as
good.
well.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. And I also hear from my student currently in the lab telling me that even the entire Miami seems like lost the power. So it seems like entire town lost it.
Gosh.
I know, it's annoying.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah. Let's see. Do you want to try to sign in?
Yeah, I was actually doing that. Hold on.
There we go. There we go. And if you want to share your screen, you can. The website is pearson.com/mastering.
Yeah, I'm already on there. So hold on.
Oh, okay.
I'm almost done signing. Continue. I just hit the agree without reading now.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm in. And 116 demo. And I see. Sorry, the internet a little slow with the cell phone. So,
Yes.
yeah, but yes, I see everything.
Okay.
What's new about it? Yeah, so I can start playing with this. So there's some e-text.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
everything look exactly same as what you showed me. So looking good. Yeah.
Good. Perfect. Yeah. So let me know if you have any questions, kind of play around and, figure out how you and Becky are going to use this. I sent you a link. Or I sent you an email. It has the link to my mastering video that I created. I'm going to take a second look at it too and just see, if it still applies. And then, I may just do a new one too now that, because when I made it, it was with the idea that no instructors were using mastering and they had never used it before. But, now 1 year later, that's not really, that's not the case anymore. So
yeah,
kind of reworked, but
yeah, it's amazing how much changed in that year. Yeah. But at least this aspect, I actually like it. We can actually take advantage of all these new tools. We procrastinated. We knew it's around, but we procrastinated. So yeah, so this is actually great.
Yes. There's a lot of good tools for students in there.
I agree.
And, and just from 5 years ago when you taught this last, it's probably less expensive than the book was, which is the funniest thing of it all. Students are paying less money and getting, hopefully having a better experience. And
definitely. So
perfect.
Yeah, back then I was writing, quiz by myself and, these, mark sheet and nothing else. Office hour, I have to even, every time I have to tell student, hey, we discussed, the chapter we discussed, it was 15, that's the way I have to start come on. but
good.
This is great. So
good. Yeah, hopefully it saves you some time and some work and you can focus on, the important stuff now. You have more time for, whatever it is, office hours, lecture, all the time consuming things that you do now. But let me know how I can help. I'll sorry, I'm racking my brain. There was another email I wanted to send you. It'll come to me.
Okay. And before I forget, I think 2 things I might want you to figure out is whether I can receive loose leaf version of the textbook, and if there is any way at all to embed the video into PowerPoints, if possible. I doubt that is possible, but it will be nice if I can actually do that.
Yeah. Oh, I know. And then I'm going to send you this this meeting. I'm recording it. That was.
Yeah, that'll be great.
Do you want? Sorry, there is one more thing I wanted to show you.
Okay.
That I don't think I showed it to you. I totally glossed it over. So if you're in the course home, we do have the instructor resources.
Yep.
And this is where, and I think I maybe mentioned, but I don't think I came here. Oh. Now I'm running a little slow. Let me, I'm going to sign out and sign back in with mine. I was signed into your account. I'm wondering if we're going to kick each other out because we're both signed in.
Yeah, sorry, I actually clicked the same link, so that might.
Oh, yeah.
I see. Yeah, I see. Launch the instructor resources. Is that the link I'm supposed to?
Yeah. Okay. All right. Perfect. Yeah. And so that's where test bank, PowerPoints, there are like clicker questions in there. All of that is all in there for you. So I want to make sure you knew where it was since you had mentioned using the PowerPoints.
Gotcha. Nice video field trip. By chapter. Oh, nice. Tour of the cell. JPEG image, extra photos, animation video. So you can actually download the video.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I have to accept some agreement. Where are you? Hold on. I lost you.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I lost your video. This actually happened. Some sort of glitch. Hold on. Come on. Enter full screen. Here we go. Okay. Yes, I can see you. Yeah, so yeah, I see animation and videos, and it allow me to download zip.
Oh, cool. Okay, good.
For each chapter, so I should be able to actually do this. So,
Perfect. Oh.
I didn't mean to click it, but seems like right now I'm downloading that huge video.
Yeah, I did the same thing. It's just, I think it's habit.
Yeah.
You just click. Yeah. Mine's downloading too. So yeah, between our two internets, we may not make it through this.
Yeah. Cool. But yes, I see all these PowerPoint and everything, so should be good.
Good.
And I'm on your YouTube channel as well. So
good. Okay.
Yeah, this is great. Yep.
Perfect. All right. Well, yeah, reach out, let me know how I can help, and hopefully get some downtime. You can do a little research. Over break. Okay.
Yeah, same to you. Hope you will have some time to relax and
Yes, I'm looking forward to it. It'll be nice. I have I have a 5-year or 6-year-old and a 2-year-old. So
fun time, but crazy time.
Yes, yeah, it'll be fun. Yeah, so they're looking forward to playing.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
Perfect. All right. Well, you take care. Let me know how I can help. Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much, Corey.
All right. Bye, Yoshi.
All right. Bye.